that brings me to the question on fertility, because I think this is also something that a lot of us are just now thinking about and talking about a lot more than we used to. What are your thoughts on this? What are the trends around fertility preservation, as we call it?
Actually, there's now a Fertility Preservation Society that has been established. And they're doing a lot of work on awareness building on this, because there's a small segment which is opting for this, and some of them are made to feel this may not be the right thing to do because not many more. But the trends of the demand, growing demand for this is definitely there, especially in the metros, because most of the girls do not want to interrupt their career or this study. They don't know what may happen in future. They've also heard that the ovarian aging is pretty much more accelerated than the rest of the world. So they don't want to touch 35 and then regret that they've lost time, but they don't want to conceive when the time is not right. At least they have a choice for themselves because they're educated, they're empowered, and they're earning for themselves. That is the key point, because pregnancy by choice and not by chance is another major slogan. But it was just a slogan so far. But now the girls are determined to really have the pregnancy by choice. And of course, there'll be a lot of pressure and influence, not only from their immediate family, but also the societies. And sometimes, feeling of guilt that they are not doing the right things at the right time. All of these make things very complex, though I would rather very strongly say that the fertility preservation mechanisms have improved a lot, and it may be a wise thing to do. Because when you say you don't know what tomorrow brings, then this is one of the, it's like a fixed deposit in a bank. It's there. It's safe. Okay. Yes. So at least your mind is not hassled when you move ahead, because you have something to fall back on. So I think that attitude should be encouraged. And another major reason why the fertility preservation is now the topic for the season is because many young girls are detected with cancer, and when they have to undergo cancer therapy and also the chemotherapy, we know that the ovaries are fired, and that's why there's always a crosstalk between the oncologist, the cancer specialist, to the gynecologist as to how they would preserve the eggs and how they would secure fertility, because the chances for survival of this young girl is much more better than what it was ever before.
Right, I agree. In the sense, we also talk about the biological clock that keeps ticking, and what I've read and understood is that it's better that you try fertility preservation, cryopreservation when you're younger, but then those people who miss the bus, who are not in their 20s, who are now probably in their 30s, is it still okay for them? Can they still go ahead? What about the ones in their 40s? Is it still recommended in terms of the pool that you get, and how many eggs actually make it through the process and all of that?
It is very individualized actually, because the chronological age and the ovarian age may not be in synchrony. A girl may be 25, but her ovary may be behaving as if it's 45. It's already an aging ovary. Whereas she may be 45, but the ovary is like, her fertility potential is great because the ovaries are still at it. So that is the kind of evaluation that you need to do. And in general, in principle, earlier the better, because this mismatch can be there in many women. But in general, the younger the age group, the better are the chances of you yielding good quality eggs for freezing.
Absolutely. Thank you for clearing that, ma'am, because usually that's one of those misty areas which people are not fully, the gray areas that we don't know about. Back in the day, just to track your periods and your fertility, FemTech was started, right? It just, everything started there with period tracking. So can you tell us, because you are very active in this area, and you're very passionate about it as well, because it does bridge gaps in healthcare. It helps reach more people with the right information. So can you tell us about your experience with FemTech, and what are any new ventures that you're embarking on, or what's happening there?
Actually, I've been hooked on very passionately to technology as such in general, because there is so much more you can do, and the space where you can reach every girl, every woman, everywhere, every time, there's a potentially a huge opportunity with the use of technology. So, but today's day and age, what is happening is the FemTech is, again, people have recognized that feminine technology, that is the healthcare revolution, innovations, and the new, inventions for women's healthcare, which is a big Pandora's box in itself, through technology can do a great lot. So the very first, time this word was coined as femtech was by Ida, who has produced an app called the Clue, which is the menstrual tracker. And that probably many such initiatives have opened up the people's mind, that talking about menstruation or expressing their problems, or they're in a community talking about it, and then the use of menstrual cups, for example, which has got propagated through the technology platform rather than by the doctors. So many of these things have happened. And now, 35 years back, when we used to ask the key question in medical practice, as you know, when a woman comes, when was your last menstrual period? Then she'll look up, down, everywhere, and then she'll say, oh, maybe Deepavali time I had. She'll connect it to some festivals, and then she'll look at her husband, and husband has made a note somewhere, as bad, as bad as that. And many times we used to put a question mark there. We don't know when her last periods are, and then we can't calculate this, that, and the other. That was the usual scenario. But we have really, really come a long way. Any girl today I ask, she'll just open up a mobile and then show all the periods tracking, and then the moods during her period, and then the pattern of the period. Everything is over there ready, available to us, and we hardly have to ask any questions. So that, what you note, what you assess, what you audit itself makes you feel better about your own scores of improvement, or you're in terms with reality of what you're dealing with, etc. So menstrual tracking apps, it may have started as a, as a thing to show off in the young community, but it is really, really useful for many reasons. And then also there are certain highlights around the premenstrual symptoms, and what she could eat or not eat, and what kind of exercises she can do, not do, and the challenges that they take for themselves to improve their body mass index, and then the kind of recipes that they share on these. It's a very engaging and interesting world for the community. And as you move further in your life, even perimenopausal, menopause, lots of apps are there for women in that age group, who learn a lot about themselves. So I think the key thread which runs through all this is awareness and educating them, for which typically the doctors have no time. And I think it's a great thing that the technology is doing. And even if we don't ask, they will say, no, ovulation tracking I've done, and this is the day of ovulation. As I told you, they give the doctors more gnan. So with respect to femtech, I think there's a lot of tech there. Okay, there is a lot of tech enabled, apps out there. There are lot many girls and women who are very excited to use them, and in different scales. But one big piece that is missing is the healthcare professionals themselves. We ourselves may be using the apps or the digital platform for a variety of things, but not so much for health. The healthcare professionals, we just took recently a survey. They haven't even heard the word femtech. They don't know what it is, and they say, oh, no, we don't believe in it. Oh, we can't even send an SMS message. Some of the senior doctors, they can't even send an SMS message. What you're talking about, chat. And, oh, in the rural India, go to rural India and see, they are wiser than you. If you learn a thing or two from the drivers and the maid servants, who say, ma'am, this is what I've got. And sometimes they send us the birthday messages with all the video choreographed by themselves. So they are, totally at it. They're very, very savvy. And we should use that opportunity to connect with them as healthcare professionals, to build the awareness within our own community, to not reinvent the wheel. There are so many things happening which facilitate so much of wellness aspect, preventive aspect, early health care seeking behavior, which we can guide them through the FemTech, which can also be used for capacity building, training, because we have, the training batches right across the country, from Manipur, Impal, Assam, interiors of villages in Karnataka, all 26 states we are working in. Just one more state we have to touch upon. In the local language, when we do the teaching, the staff nurses or any other healthcare providers just have to have a mobile phone, and whether they're on duty, off duty, 90 minutes they spend with us hooking onto the mobile. Even the online exams are taken onto that. So potentially, if you just start exploring how much more can be done, I think we are just now at 10%. There is a lot more to explore in this space. And I think FemTech 360 is the website that we've launched, because it's 360, entire life course. There are a lot many things FemTech can do. Also, like in the menstrual health space that we talked about, the mental health space as well. So there could be a whole band of counselors who are not available to them otherwise in their settings, but at the back end, they can connect with them and have their therapies and counseling and meditation sessions. Think of whatever, because mental well-being has become, it's really come to the forefront now. So I think right across the 360-degree life course, the FIGO wheel for wellness that we have bought in, at every touch point, there is a lot that technology can do. In fact, a new committee for FemTech has been instituted at FIGO, because it cuts across every aspect of every girl and women's lifespan whom we can touch upon. And I think you'll see a whole new era, and more so even in the low middle income countries, typically in places like India, where millions of mobile users are there. So that's all we need, and internet connectivity is amazing for a country like ours. So I think everybody is at it, and we should do more.